Do you like to binge watch TV? Did you know you could binge listen to podcasts? Head over to electronicmediacollective.com, where they have podcasts for days. You like podcasts about wrestling? They have that. Do you like podcasts about TV and film? They have that. Do you like podcasts about horror? EMC has that too. Do you like comedy? Do you like books? Guess what? They've got you covered. Head over to electronicmediacollective.com. Pick your favorite podcast today. You're listening to Moose's Monster Mash. Welcome, Horror Hounds, to an all-new episode of Moose's Monster Mash. I'm your host, Moose, and we have a double shot of guest review today, here to talk about their new project, himDoug Jones. Please welcome Mr. Derek Maki and the man of 1,000 faces, Mr. Doug Jones.
Well, hi there, and thank you for that. Although that was Lon Chaney, I'm maybe 900 and some. Maybe.
So you're getting there.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us. This is awesome.
So, just off the bat, reading the description about the movie, you guys talk about, this is kind of like a passion project, all that. What ultimately spurred the decision to do this, essentially behind the scenes look at Doug?
Well, it certainly was not my idea. Derek, take it.
Doug turned me down 3 times to do this project. He did not want to do it. He was very adamant about not wanting to do it. And I, tried to explain to him that this was going to be very intricate and he would have say over things and how important it was, because I feel that he never receives the accolades that he deserves in the industry. And it was only after I introduced him to the director of the film and how great he was that he basically caved in.
Yes. So after saying no, I don't need a documentary. I don't want to. What's to document? We were at the Star Trek Las Vegas convention a couple of years ago, and before going down to the floor for the convention that day, Derek said, "Stop by my hotel room on your way down. I want to talk to you about something." Stopping there, and that's when he introduced me to William Conlon, our director. And he said, William has done documentaries before. He has a very popular one out there called Making Apes, which is a look into the Planet of the Apes original movies and behind the scenes and making it. And he knows what he's doing. And we want to really, he did the pitch he just gave you. I really want to do this for your life and your career. And I'm like, oh, God. I said, it's going to be so much work for me, too. And he, no, we'll do everything. I know, but think of all the interviews, all the people that I would want to include. I'm 65 years old. That's a lot of life to gather up and say, let's have a look. So I knew that's a lot of phone calls, emails on my part. He's like, no, we'll take care of it. I said, well, okay. All right. If you really, really guys want to do this that badly. So great. Cameras come out and they follow me around that day. We started filming that day. Got fan interaction at my table, and they got fan testimonials as they left my table at the convention, followed me around for my panels and my photo ops, and walking through the hallways saying hi to people. It's like we had enough of a documentary that first day. And I'm thinking, oh my God, and how much more is there yet to go? So anyway, it has turned into a passion project for me now as well, because it's been so much fun for me to help pull together people out of obscurity that I haven't talked to in over 40 years, including my high school drama teacher. We found her in Florida, and we were down there we were about to take off on the Star Trek cruise, which was a big promotional thing for the Star Trek family. And turns out that my high school drama teacher from Indiana now lives in Florida, retired with her husband, and we got together and had a reunion on camera after not seeing her for decades and decades. And
it was a genuine reunion. When they saw each other, the cameras were rolling. They didn't meet in the lobby first.
Yeah, we didn't stage this. It was like real. But lots of screaming and face cupping and hand holding and kissing and oh my God. And she arrived at that interview with a folder with newspaper and magazine articles that she'd collected over the years following my career. And I was like, okay, listen. So it was moments like that I wanted to include in a documentary. It's not just about career. We're doing that. We can do that on any podcast.
Right.
But what you can't do is dig into what made the person with all the credits that are on IMDb, you
Right.
know?
Right. It's the people that stood behind him and believed in him
Yeah.
and who continue to do so to this day.
Yeah.
And I think that's important part of the story to tell. And the other important part for me, as I said, is I honestly feel that Doug hasn't received the accolades that he deserves when it comes to industry folks. So like, he should have gotten an Oscar nomination at this point for something that he's done. And so we're hoping that this will also get the Academy's attention and go, wow, how have we overlooked this, person? And it's not that I want them to give him an award just because of that, but I think that it's something that should have always been in existence. Ages ago when the Oscars started, it was something that they did. Like, Lon Chaney got an Oscar for makeup work. And then it just took a back seat over the years. It's kind of the same thing with how Beauty and the Beast broke the mold for animation being up for best film. Why shouldn't it be? Just because live actors don't perform, it doesn't mean that the same amount of love, compassion, and effort and money went into making the project. And when you look at what an actor does to bring a voice to life behind the camera, because Disney, you watch any Disney DVD and they have these behind the scenes footages. These actors are acting. They're not just regurgitating lines. And so I think that those are the types of things that you need to get the attention of the people in the industry and go, look, it's great that you want to celebrate someone huge like a Meryl Streep, who I admire, but look at all the other people in the industry that deserve some sort of praise for the amount of efforts and work that they do to make something come to life. Filmmaking is not one person. Everyone thinks it's always the lead actor and the director. And yes, they are incredibly important, but it takes hundreds, if not thousands, of cast and crew to bring one script to life. And I think that should be celebrated across the board, as much as it can be. So that's what our little film is for.
Well,
I
and
guess.
to touch a little bit on what you were saying, over the years of doing this, I've become friends with a lot of voice actors and things like that. And the term voice actor has always kind of like annoyed me. It doesn't really bother them, but it annoys me because it's not a voice actor. Like you look at somebody like, and I'll just Rob Paulson. It's like a full body actor. He is in it head to toe. He's heart and soul. Him, Jim Cummings, all these guys, they're in it 100%. And then you have guys like Doug, who's bringing these characters to life, like Abe Sapien, Billy Butcherson, who you're spending hours in a makeup chair, and it's best makeup has turned into like who looks the prettiest on screen.
Mhm.
But you look at some of the characters that you've brought to the screen, and those are some amazing makeup jobs and some amazing costumes that you've had to wear over your career. And yeah, he's right. You've kind of gotten hosed over the years, at least in the makeup category, if not, supporting actor, any of these other thousands of categories they have that you should qualify for.
And honestly, that's been okay with me. I realize that the Academy of Television and the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences, that they don't vote for the guy in rubber bits often when it comes to the acting categories. But so I wasn't expecting. I've never been expecting anything. I felt kind of like very honored though when I did The Shape of Water and Fox Studios, Fox Searchlight, put all their full page ads out in the LA Times and the Variety magazine for your consideration for all the awards voters for that season, and all with suggestions of all the categories that this film should be up for. And in the Best Actor category, they had my name listed for The Shape of Water. So that's when a studio of that size is suggesting to the Academy you might want to vote for Doug Jones for Best Actor. That's the closest to an Oscar I've ever gotten, and it felt like real. I teared up when I saw that full page ad in the LA Times. I was like, "Wow, that's never happened before."
Mhm.
So and I felt that I knew that that was as far as I was going to go, and I was right. But yeah, it's not about awards for me as much as it is when people like I hear when we do the convention appearances, and I get to see one person at a time that watched something I did at home with their family. That's the award that I need. That's the award that I crave. Is hearing what part of their life I've been a part of all these years.
And I think it's important to point out, like, or to for me to reiterate, it's the Oscar or getting the attention of the Academy is not the end goal of this movie. The end goal of this movie is more to show the fans at those conventions, they meet him for 5 minutes and they think they know him or they wish they knew him more. And so this is going to give them another insight into who Doug is and what he's done over the years and what he brings to a performance. We're going to take a little look inside his family life. And so it's really the Oscar thing is just a small part of it, where I'm trying to show how this amazing man grew from the middle of nowhere and became, he's living the Hollywood dream. Every young kid, female or male or them or whatever, who left home and went to Hollywood to become rich and famous, Doug did it, and it took a lot of tears.
I'm not sure I did both of those.
Okay, you're not poor, but you're famous.
Yeah, well,
you're
you have more money than I do.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
So yeah, that's it's and look, for all the footage that we've gotten so far, I dread what my director has to go through to edit it down, but that's fine. But it's going to be a hoot, and there's going to be so many surprises, and I think fans and just viewers, like, there's going to be people who watch this that are not fans of Doug's. They're going to be like, "Oh, what's this movie? I'll watch it," and then they're going to go, "Oh my God, I got to watch everything this man's ever done," because they're going to learn about him and be like, "How did I miss some of this over the years?" Like the other day, or a week, 2 weeks ago, I was at a convention, and we have these little cards that we hand out about the film, and it's got the picture that you see. It's our movie poster on it, and on the back side is just the QR code for the website and stuff. And we've been promoting to people that, we're going to be doing a crowd finishing campaign soon, but we also want people to follow us on IMDb. And when they look at it, they go, "Well, who's Doug Jones?" And I said, "Trust me, you may not know who that guy is in that picture. Click on the QR code with your phone, and when you get up to the table, I was helping a celebrity, tell me if you know who Doug Jones is." And every single person that did it, when they got to the table, they went, "Oh my God, we love Doug Jones. What can we do to help?" And, so they know, but it's just connecting all the dots. So,
yeah, that's the interesting thing about Doug is they might not know your name, but they definitely know your body of work. And it's, it's interesting, Derek, that you brought up the, you part of this is the way that fans leave from the convention thinking that they know him, and you want people to know him more and things like that. When I met Doug at SuperCon a year or so back, I remember walking away thinking this man should write a book, because there was so much more that could talk. I caught I was actually able to catch his panel. We talked for maybe 15 minutes. I gave you a Billy Butcherson wood burning. We hung out for a little bit, but then, that's all you get for, interaction. But your career is so, at this point, legendary, that there's so much to dive into. So when this opportunity came across my email, I think it is the fastest I've ever responded to an email. I was like, yes, absolutely. I want an opportunity to ask questions about this. Yes, please. I will help promote it any way I can.
Oh, thank you for that. So,
when you picked the director, Derek, had you seen all of his films before, or just like Making of the Apes?
Well, he's young, he's new, so he's only done a few things, but it was Making Apes that impressed me, because a friend of mine turned me on to it. And he says, because he knew that I was a Planet of the Apes fan, but then I'm also a documentary fan, and not just documentaries about films. I love history documentaries and everything. I love to learn. And I hate reading. So documentaries are easy. If I pick up a book, I fall asleep. So I watched Making Apes, and when it ended, I wanted more. And all I kept thinking through the whole thing was, it doesn't feel like a documentary. It feels like a story. It's not just talking heads. And I very much wanted to get away from the talking heads. Documentaries.
You can't have a documentary without it, though.
Well, that's what
we have
I'm
a lot
saying.
of talking heads.
We do have heads in this, and so does Making Apes.
Yeah.
But there are other elements to the documentary to weave a story together to make it a little bit more interesting than just talking heads. But yeah, you do need talking heads because that's how the interviews. I mean, you've got to get those interviews in there. But the way that he molded or weaved the story and the videos and the visuals that you see, he did such a good job. And all I do is rave to him about it. So that's why I'm like, you have to do this for me because we're going to have Sonequa Martin Green. Yeah, we're going to have Ron Perlman. Yeah, we're going to have Noah Wiley and a bunch of other people that Doug has known. But we want to have other parts of this film that are going to be fascinating to watch and learn from than just everybody raving about how great Doug is. Because so far, that's what everyone's done. I teased Doug on the last set of interviews we did. We started our first initial batch of interviews asking people, can you tell us anything bad about Doug? And we finally gave up asking because we knew we were never going to get it out of anybody.
And I thought I was in safe hands with him making a documentary until I hear that he's trying to dig dirt up on me. Like, okay. I see where this is headed.
Yeah.
So where does the documentary start? Like, is it childhood to adult? Is it just what, gets you into acting to move forward? Where's the starting point?
Well, all of that will be in there. I don't know how it starts because you know what happens with a documentary? They film everything first and see where the story is in it. Is there a thread in there that has a beginning, a middle, and an end for an audience to watch? I think.
Right. Yep, you are.
If I'm talking out of turn, let me know. But so it who knows where it starts? You mentioned a book. I do have a literary agent that's coming after me to start writing the Doug Jones, my autobiography. And if where do you start something like that? It's like a documentary in print, basically. I think I would start writing a book on the stage of the Oscars in 2018 when The Shape of Water won Best Picture, and I got to stand there with the entire team. I would open the book with that, and then try to go backtrack and find out, well, how did I get here? So who knows when it comes to a documentary, what's going to make the best narrative visually and story-wise? That's up to the filmmakers.
We have basic starting points for each interview that we do and for each setup that we're doing for storytelling. And we know we want to talk to Doug's brothers, for example, but
I have 3 older brothers, by the way, so they absolutely helped shape the early Dougie for sure.
Right, but we're not going to spend 20 minutes of the beginning of the documentary looking at old photos of Doug when he was 5. Like, that's not the point. The point is, I'll tell you what the point is for me. What started it for me, and I've told this story many times. It'll be part of my interview in the documentary. My favorite film of all time has now become Pan's Labyrinth. It used to be The Empire Strikes Back, which has now moved to number 2. And a lot of people go, oh my God, why?
How could you do that?
I know, right? I know, oh my gosh. I'll tell you why. It's because when I met Doug for the first time 18 plus years ago now, we were at a convention. I had just watched Pan's Labyrinth and was blown away by it. And then when I met Doug, he had some, and I came up to his table and I was like, oh my God, that's you? I just watched this film. It was fantastic. And we got to know each other over the weekend. And one of the things that I learned was, and it's not a secret, but a lot of people don't put the pieces together. So I'm always pushing it. Doug doesn't speak Spanish. And Guillermo had told him that he was going to dub Doug's voice
when I balked and squawked. I told Guillermo del Toro, I'm going to ruin your film. This is going to be in the Spanish language, and the fawn has paragraphs of exposition. I'm going to ruin your film. You must get a Spanish speaking actor.
Right. So when Doug said, so I need to know, what's being said so I can give you the proper mouth move. And I want to say,
I'm sorry, can I break in again?
It's your story. I'm just truncating I can because
Guillermo's answer to me was, Dougie, you can count to 10 for all I care, and I'll dub over it in post-production, but you have to play the fawn. Right. That was what he offered me, and I was like, okay. he's giving me an easy way out, knowing that I will not take it. Because I can't imagine counting to 10, leaving my mouth saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and having to dub over that with lips not matching, and with an 11-year-old actress that I'm talking to all the time, having to react to me counting to 10 in English. So he knew I wouldn't let that go, and I didn't. So
Right. So Guillermo gave him a script in English and a script in Spanish,
I could translate.
and he could translate and know the nuances and what was trying to come out from the scene, and delivered all of the lines in Spanish on set, and with emotion. And it was like, when you watch it, yes, you're hearing someone else's voice, but to care, you don't know that, especially before knowing you. I would not have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I watched that film. I remember when we first watched it, friends and I'm like, guys, I hate subtitles. And I'm a film major. I went to film school. I hate subtitles. I ended up not having to read the subtitles, and I went back and watched the film twice, again, to read the subtitles. I wanted to watch what was happening, and I did not get taken out of the film at all. And his character was so believable because I had no clue that he wasn't a Spanish speaking actor. And I think it is absolutely amazing how someone would take the time and effort to do that and insist to a director who's so well known and so amazing that I have to do this for you to help tell your story. The average actor doesn't do that.
No.
The average actor is exactly, oh, I can count to 10. Thank God I don't have to put any effort into this. No. And then never mind the lip syncing. You watch the Fawn and the Pale Man, but the Fawn specifically on screen, it is captivating. Everything that Doug does, his body language, everything is, you get lost in the character. And that is how the film for me started, for the documentary, is how can I take that story that I admire and share it with the world, but then show all the other aspects of who Doug is and what Doug has done in his career. Because you can't just have a feature-length film about Doug learning his lines in Spanish. No, there's a reason behind it. So that was the catalyst for me, but now it's become so much more.
Well, I'd imagine the deeper you dig, the more you find. And there's got to be a lot of cool stories that you'll end up digging up in the course of all this. I mean, I think one of the most well-known is the story from Hocus Pocus with the moth,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you get asked about it all the time, how'd you do the real moths in your mouth? How did the pouch work is what I want to know.
Oh, right. Well, for anyone like watching this, listening to this that doesn't know this story, I did have live moths in my mouth when I cut my mouth open for the first time as Billy Butcherson and spoke for the first time. I had to cough out dust, and moths went flying out of my mouth because I've been dead and I'm dried up. I'm made of dust now. So, this is before CG is what it is now. And so they did it practically. So I had 3 moths that were placed into my mouth with tweezers. What they landed on was not my bare tongue, though. I had an upper and lower retainer that were holding a latex sheath in there, kind of like a dental dam to keep the moths from getting too wet. Because when moths are very dry, if they get moist at all, they won't fly. And they had a moth trainer on set that was explaining all this to me. I'm like, oh, okay. So they had me fitted for retainers and everything ahead of time. And there was a little cup, I more than a pouch. It was more of a fiberglass cup on the roof of my mouth that had purified dirt in it. We called it Fuller's Earth back in the day. And it had 2 air holes at the back so that it could go. So that's where the dust, when you see dust come out of my mouth, that was actually blowing out of a little cup on the roof of my mouth. And the moths were sitting underneath that cup on my latex sheath covered tongue. So it was quite a contraption. They had to put that together at the very last minute before. So they got everything else rolling. Sound and camera was rolling. The last thing they did was moths in, tacking my little stitches back together for the pre-cut knife to go through. So it was quite a it took a village, I should say.
One moment, yeah.
For that one moment.
And then it didn't work the first time.
And the first time, that's the part of the story that gets, because a light burst and we had to go back for, it was all ready and set to go, cameras rolling, and they had a light blow up. So we can fix it real quick. So the camera kept rolling and they fixed the light And then by now, though, oh my gosh, my saliva glands were overreacting to an intruder in the mouth. Because you have something in your mouth, you want to process it.
Yeah.
That's kind of nature. And so could feel the water table going up in my, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be ugly. So okay, and action, they finally fixed everything. And now cut my mouth open. Well, so this mud comes out of my mouth with a string of drool and a moth going wee
Moth's
on.
dead now too.
Yeah, it was alive but surfing. It was just kind of yeah,
That's
like
awesome.
going over a ball in a barrel.
I think for me, the wildest part of that story is there was a moth trainer. Like,
Yeah.
how do you train a moth?
Right, that's the job, I guess, right? Well, he had a net, and he caught them between things, and look, and would reapply. But he also had a cage full of them. It should he lose one,
I know we're getting closer to the end here. Derek, you want to talk a little bit more about the upcoming crowdfunding campaign?
Yeah, sure. So what I want to let everybody know is that, and we're very proud of this, is we were actually able to raise the majority of the money for principal photography all on our own, which is very something an independent filmmaker should be very proud of. And part of that was because of this man's name. We would go to people and go, we're telling this story, and they would go, how do we be part of it? So it was fantastic. So at the end of the time now, we're coming to finish the film, and we realize, there's certain music that we want to get the rights to. We need to help pay our editor, and we need to go to film festivals. And film festivals, everyone out there in the world thinks, oh, all the actors just show up to red carpets at Sundance or at Cannes, and it's like, no, 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 someone pays for all that. So production is going to have to pay to get the director and I and Doug to those places to promote the film.
Even submitting to those.
Yeah. There's a submission fee. So we need to raise funds to finish the film, and that's what this is. So we're going to be having a bunch of cool items up for grabs, and all of the funds will go to finishing our campaign. And Doug has been gracious enough to donate from his own archive some very unique pieces. We've got some shooting scripts from Star Trek Discovery and What We Do in the Shadows. We've got some makeup appliances from Discovery, and we've got a ton of signed 8x10s and 16x20s and 11x14s from Doug and various cast members, including executive producer David Kirshner, who created and wrote Hocus Pocus. We've got Tony Gardner, who we were just talking about the makeup of Billy Butcherson. Tony was the man that brought that together. Mm-hmm. And we've got a lot more surprises that are coming up. So we've actually postponed our campaign just a hair, because the more stuff that we're getting, we want to be able to have it all blast out at once. But once it is active, once the campaign goes live, all of the information will be at getmedugjones.com. So we're asking everyone to follow getmedugjones.com, put it in your browser. You can also follow us on Instagram under the same name, getmedugjones. And once it goes live, we invite everyone who wishes to participate to help finish this amazing film. So there you have it.
So is the plan for like Film Fest and then like a theatrical release, or Film Fest and then like home media?
Right. No, well, the goal is theatrical release, whether it's going to be a limited release at art houses like Alamo Drafthouse, who we've actually already been talking to, and some other independent film places across the country, or every filmmaker's dream is you go to Cannes or you go to Sundance, and then big studios like Warner Brothers or Fox are there, and they go, wow, this is a done project that we could make millions off of. And then they write us a check for the rights. So I'm going to go with either way. I don't care. My goal is that it gets out there and is seen, and we get a theatrical release, no matter what it is. And then, yes, like every film nowadays, it will be on some platform. More than likely, it'll start off on Amazon, only because Cool Waters Productions, my company, we already have a film on Amazon, so we already have a platform in place. But it's really, we don't know what the future holds. And if a studio buys it, we kind of have to do what they say. But no, it'll be in theaters, folks. That's without a doubt in theaters.
All right. And Doug, what are you looking forward the most out of all of this?
Oh, golly, it being over, I think. Well, It is, well, and that's because it's very humbling. This is a very humbling experience, and almost to the point of embarrassment when when people are gathering around, and we're a couple years in of people coming out of my life to talk about me. It's very like a very vulnerable feeling. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it all cuts together and sharing, like I was saying before, my IMDb credits and what movies and TV shows I've been in that people might know me from. That's one thing, and I've talked ad nauseum about all that over my life and doing interviews. But to open up the book a little bit farther, to see, oh well, here are his three older brothers. Here is where he comes from in Indiana. Here's what it was like for him with his hopes and dreams as a teenager, and who was the first person to do something with that. Those are elements that I'm excited. I'm excited to watch that myself, just to see, just to remember. I'm at an age now where nostalgia is everything. So this film is very nostalgic for me in what it's going to dig up.
I'm looking forward to it. And so there's getmedugjones.com. Are there any other social media links you'd like listeners to follow to keep track of everything that's going on?
Sure. Well, we have, like, as I said, so get me Doug Jones on Instagram, Cool Waters Prods on all social platforms. It's the same. On Doug's personal Instagram is
Actor Doug Jones.
Actor Doug
and that's
Jones.
Actor Doug Jones gets you to my Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook, Tumblr, LinkedIn. All of them. Yeah.
And then anyone that can go on to IMDb, if you have a pro account or a fan-based account, it doesn't matter. We ask you that you add us to your watch list because that makes the numbers go up on IMDb, which is really good for us when it comes to studios looking at us and going, ooh, what's this film all about? So, yeah, but getmedugjones.com is the easiest way because everything's listed there and people can pick and choose what they want to follow.
Nice. And listeners, those episodes will be in the episode. Those links will be in the episode description. You can follow me and other great podcasters over at electronicmediacollective.com, or be sure to follow me over on Facebook at Moose's Monster Mash and YouTube at Moose Media Inc. Gentlemen, thank you for including me in this. And thank you for stopping by and having this wonderful conversation. This was phenomenal.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for having us. So kind of you.
When the movie comes out, maybe we can do this again and talk more about the production and the reception and all that. And
we'll know by then.
Yeah.
Say, I'd love to have either one of you on again. And this was fun and can't thank you enough. And until next time, Horror Hounds, mash on.
This has been Moose's Monster Mash. Come back for more chills and thrills if you dare.